Today we're continuing our journey along the Qhapaq Ñan, the Inca Trail, from Huánuco, Pampa, and now we're in Warawtambo.
The Warawtampu Tawantinsuyu archaeological site was built between 1460 to 1470 AD, between the 12th and 16th centuries, and was an Inca settlement that served as a tambo, a sanctuary or place for rest and storage of resources, used by Inca state personnel, along the Qhapaq Ñan Inca road system. The Inca settlement of Warawtambo, covering barely 12 hectares, was the smallest administrative center in the region and was associated with the Qhapaq Ñan Inca road system, which ran from Cusco to Quito, passing through the settlement.
The archaeological site of Warawtambo is located in the Andes Mountains at 3,600 meters above sea level, 7 kilometers from Yanahuanca in the Pasco region of Peru.
This tambo was strategically located between the administrative capital of Chinchaysuyo, Huánuco Pampa to the north, and the Inca settlement of Tampu to the south. Strategic placement along the Inca road system indicate its importance in the empire's administrative and logistical network. Warawtambo functioned as a vital hub in the daily operation of the Inca Empire, facilitating with communication, administration, and control, making possible the movement of goods, armies, and information across the empire's vast territories. The most important factor for the foundation of Warawtambo was socio-political, being in the neighborhood of smaller ethnic groups to the north such as the Phaqcha, Qhapaq, Chupachu, and Micmac. The Inca Empire, known for its sophisticated Qhapaq Ñan road system, used sites like Warawtambo to maintain control over vast territories and ethnic groups.
Inkawasi. This is the royal house that would have been the house of the Inca ruler. Perhaps Pachacuti Yupanqui himself would have stayed here during visits and ceremonies and military campaigns.
Warawtambo was constructed during the government of Pachacuti Inka Yupanqui of Cusco, under the direct orders and supervision of General Qhapaq Yupanqui in Pasco. The tambo was constructed by the expert stone cutters brought from Cusco. While some were Cusco stonemasons, the rest were mainly men of the Yarush culture supported by Yakcha workers, remnants from 2 nations of the late intermediate period originating from the Waranga River basin. Thus, the buildings in this site show 2 architectural styles, one Inca and the other Yarush.
This structure has 14 niches and would originally have had a roof covered in sticks and straw.
The architecture and construction methods seen at Warawtambo, like those of other Inca sites, were advanced for their time. The precise megalithic stonework, without the use of mortar, demonstrates the Incas' mastery of stone masonry. The technique used in construction ensured the durability of their structures and their resistance to seismic activity.
Warawtambo was constructed between the 12th and the 16th century under the Inca government of Pachacuti Yupanqui of Cusco.
Pachacuti Inka Yupanqui was the 9th Sapa Inca who from 1438 to 1471 ruled over the kingdom of Cusco, which he transformed into the Inca Tawantinsuyu Empire. During his reign, Cusco grew from a hamlet into an empire that could compete with, and eventually overtake, the Chimu Empire. He began an era of conquest that, within 3 generations, expanded the Inca dominion from the valley of Cusco to nearly the whole western part of South America. He built irrigating channels, cultivated terraces, made roads and hospices. Due to the remarkable expansion of their domains, he was considered an exceptional leader, enlivening glorious epic stories and hymns in tribute to his achievements. In the Inca settlement of Huarautambo, the most attractive buildings are those of silestone cut in the Inca imperial style, with trapezoidal doors and niches similar to those of imperial Cusco. Within Huarautambo, we can find buildings that correspond to palaces, houses, warehouses, a fountain, corrals, and the Tawantinsuyu bridge. The most notable of the remaining buildings is the Inkawasi Palace, Warmiwasi, and the Phaqcha Ceremonial Fountain. These have sadly been almost completely destroyed by the modern inhabitants, but what remains is indicative of their former magnificence. This site, like those throughout the Inca Empire, had an extensive water system, with aqueducts and canals that supplied water directly to the Inkawasi, palace of the Inca, and to the Phaqcha Ceremonial Fountain. Aqueduct water supply systems were commonly used to support irrigation agriculture and for providing urban water supplies. Located within the Warawtampu Archaeological site, we encounter this example of a megalithic Inca stone seat that would have served as a kind of Inca royal throne. Local legend relates that Pachacuti Inka Yupanqui himself sat upon this throne while administering his royal position and presiding over ceremonies and celebrations of Tawantinsuyu that were performed at Warawtambo.
This site was constructed using both Incan masons from Cusco, as well as Yarush men from the local integrated pre-Incan cultures, and was occupied up until the Spanish invasion.
The construction of Warawtambo is believed to have taken place between the years 1460 and 1470 AD. Some archaeologists have placed this time in the late intermediate period, while others place it in the period of the regional states and the beginning of the Inca Empire. It was during this period that the Cusco builders, together with the Yarush men, began the construction of the various enclosures, which would be used by Inca state personnel until the Spanish invasion.
Warawtampu, or Warawtambo is a Quechua word derived from Waraw, meaning high, and Tampu, meaning an inn. Hispanicized as Warawtambo. This structure is known as Warmiwasi, or women's house. This is a structure where the women of the Inca nobility would have stayed. This is quite interesting, this green residue left here on these megalithic blocks. And this seems to be indicative that perhaps there would have been tumbaga or gold plating of some type that would have been pasted over the top of these rocks long ago. Most likely these blocks were covered at one time with gold plating.
The Incas administered their large empire through a small number of administrative centers and tambos such as Huarautambo and Huarautampo to its north and Tampu to its south. These settlements were linked by the extensive Inca road system. The most important of the roads, the Qhapaq Ñan, which served as the main north-south highway, extending from Cusco to Quito, Ecuador, passes through Warawtambo. The Qhapaq Ñan Inca road system stretched from Quito to Chile and made the Inca Empire's triumph and domination possible. Consisting of a vast complex system of roads, bridges, and other structures, the Qhapaq Ñan was the largest construction in the Western Hemisphere when Inca power was at its height. The Inca state used the road system strategically to oversee diverse populations within an empire of 2 million square kilometers, or 772,000 square miles.
In Quechua, this is called Phaqcha, a ceremonial fountain as a type of an altar that was used in ceremonies revolving around the cult of water. This is natural spring water fed through underground aqueducts and mysteriously comes up through this hole here in this altar stone.
During the filming and subsequent post-production work on this documentary, archaeological investigator Jonathan W. Alexander made a profound discovery while observing the wave patterns produced in the Phaqcha Ceremonial Fountain at the Huarautambo Archaeological Site. Observing the surface of the water in the fountain, it can clearly be observed the phenomenon of what is referred to in physics as diffraction and interference. This observation led to the hypothesis that perhaps the fountain served as a kind of ripple tank in which the Inca could have observed wave phenomena similar to that of the double-slit experiment, in which a wave is split into two separate waves that later combine into a single wave. Changes in the path lengths of both waves result in a phase shift, creating an interference pattern as can be observed in the surface of the shallow pool of water in the fountain. The Huygens principle tells us that each part of the slits in the double-slit experiment can be thought of as an emitter of waves. The same can be considered with the fountain in relation to the multiple spill drippers that serve as the emitters. If the fountain were used as a ripple tank for the experiment of studying the interference of waves, the spill drippers can be used to produce, in this case, three coherent sources. Diffraction and interference are phenomena that can be observed not only in water waves, but also can occur in other types of waves, as was first demonstrated by the British polymath Thomas Young in 1801. His experiment indicated that light consists of waves, as the distribution of brightness can be explained by the alternately additive and subtractive interference of wave fronts. Interference of light is difficult to observe since the waves are so small and the vibrations so rapid. However, interference takes place with any kind of wave motion, and the effects of interference can be more easily seen by examining the behavior of water waves, which are in many ways similar to light waves, but travel more slowly and are more easily noticeable. Similar to what is observed with the interference pattern of light can also be observed in water waves. For example, if two droplets of water impact the surface in water at the same frequency, two sets of concentric circles are created that will interfere with each other as they travel across the surface. This is similar to the double-slit interference pattern for light, which consists of alternating bright and dark lines called fringes. The waves are said to be undergoing superposition, and the phenomenon produced is known as interference. The principle of superposition states that the resultant displacement at any point where two similar waves cross is equal to the sum of the separate displacements of the two waves. Wave interference occurs when waves that are traveling in opposite directions meet. The waves pass through each other, and this affects their amplitude. When two waves meet, their peaks and troughs can coincide, resulting in constructive or destructive interference. Constructive interference occurs when peaks overlap, doubling the wave amplitude. Destructive interference occurs when a peak overlaps with a trough, resulting in zero amplitude, causing them to cancel each other out. In constructive interference regions, wave action is greatest, while it's least in destructive interference regions. All these waves interfere to produce the diffraction pattern. This uniform pattern of ripples can be observed as shown in the diagram. The source of waves is coherent, which maintain at a constant phase difference and same frequency. Such a pattern of ripples is produced when water waves which are approaching each other meet and overlap. You can observe antinodal lines consisting of maximum peaks and maximum troughs. When constructive interference occurs, it's a line consisting entirely of antinodes, nodal lines consisting of points with zero displacement. When destructive interference occurs, it's a line consisting entirely of nodes. When you have two sources making circular waves, you get the interference of the two sources, resulting in symmetrical patterns spread out from the sources, producing line locations where constructive and destructive interference occur. When you put those two sources together, you get a complex pattern, and what is interesting is that there's an underlying mathematical relationship to this pattern, and physicists use this to make calculations to find things like the wavelength of light. Physicist Richard Feynman famously said, "The double-slit experiment is absolutely impossible to explain in any classical way and has in it the heart of quantum mechanics. In reality, it contains the only mystery." Feynman was also fond of saying, "All of quantum mechanics can be gleaned from carefully thinking through the implications of this single experiment." This is an astonishing discovery, indicating that perhaps the Inca had a previous knowledge of wave phenomena and physics. As we already know and have seen throughout this series, the Inca possessed superior knowledge of tectonic architecture, hydraulic engineering and aqueducts, agriculture, spatial geometry, astronomy, mathematics and road systems, with bridges and other technological advancements that paralleled that of the Roman Empire. November 4, 2015, the Central Reserve Bank of Peru, BCR, put into circulation a one-sol coin alluding to the archaeological site of Huarautambo, featuring the Phaqcha fountain and emblematic Warawtampu Bridge. The coin was released as part of the numismatic series, Wealth and Pride of Peru, and minted by the Central Reserve Bank of Peru, with the aim of promoting a numismatic culture within Peru and disseminate Peruvian cultural heritage. Each coin depicts a department of Peru, showing a tourist attraction in the region, Warawtambo being the representation for the department of Pasco. The Tawantinsuyu Bridge was built as part of the Qhapaq Ñan Inca road system by Yarush and Yakcha workers under direct orders and supervision of Inca General Quechua Yupanqui. Bridges of this type were useful since the Inca did not use wheel transport. Traffic was limited to pedestrians and livestock. This bridge is unique of its type, and none others like it are found throughout the Inca Empire. Typically, a type of rope suspension bridge was used along the Qhapaq Ñan Inca road system. These bridges and vast road system was frequently used by chasqui runners, delivering messages throughout the Inca Empire. The gutters of the Tawantinsuyu Bridge are shaped like Inca trapezoidal windows or doors, and are more than 1 meter high by 70 centimeters wide.
This bridge was constructed in the Inca imperial style using megalithic blocks and has 17 arches, and is still in use today after more than 500 years.
The Tawantinsuyu Bridge establishes a link for pedestrian communication between the population centers of Huarautambo, located on the left bank of the Warawtampu River, and Astobamba, located on the right bank of the river, where is located the Huarautampo Pre-Inca Archaeological Site. The Huarautampo Archaeological Site is located in the wet grassy plain of the right bank of the Warawtampu River, near the present-day town center of Astobamba. Not far from the Warawtambo settlement, the Inca found the remains of a pre-existing and well-planned village known as Huarautampo. This pre-Inca settlement consisting of public buildings 2 and 3 stories high and elaborate residences with square rooms and funerary chambers. The Huarautampo pre-Inca village occupied an area 3 times bigger than that of the Inca settlement. However, the Inca did not attempt to build a new installation over the pre-existing settlement. While constructing the Warawtambo settlement, the Inca apparently decided to ignore the old village of Huarautampo that had perhaps already been covered by mud, as it was located within the floodplains on the right bank of the Warawtambo River. Instead, the Inca elected to build their new Inca settlement on the left bank of the river in an area apparently without pre-existing houses and located higher from the flood zones of the Warawtambo River. Huarautampo is a pre-Inca archaeological site of the Huaraush culture phase 2, established between 800 and 1400 AD. Huarautampo was a centralized urbanization in which functions of daily life were carried out. From this place, links were established with the countryside and their respective agricultural and hunting activities on the slopes and plateaus of the region. This archaeological site is made up of anti-seismic palaces, with patios built from medium-sized, flat-edged stones, with mud mortar and small slabs of stone that like a mosaic complete the facings. They have a rectangular or quadrangular plan with Huaraush-type doorways. They are characterized by presenting rectangular tomb-roofed constructions with long lithic beams and ornamental niches on the interior walls, and some palaces have small altars in one of their internal corners. Taking into account the excavation and identification works carried out from 2006 to 2008, as well as the archaeological investigations established by an agreement between the UNMSM University and the regional government of Pasco between 2007 to 2010. It is possible to affirm that this site was inhabited by the Huaraush culture phase 2 until the year 1000 AD, and then by the Phaqcha ethnic group until around the year 1400 AD. The construction of this settlement would have occurred during the year 800 AD. This date has been placed by some archaeologists in the Middle Horizon period, while others place it in the Regional Cultures period. It would have been around this date when the Huaraush began the construction of the enclosures, which would continue during the period of the Huari Empire until the year 1000 AD. Later, this place would be abandoned by the Huaraush and taken by the Phaqcha, who lasted until 1400 AD. The Qhapaq Ñan, or Inca Trail, includes the complex system of roads 25,000 kilometers long, declared a World Heritage Site in 2014 by UNESCO. The Inca Trail has united the territories of Ecuador, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina since the 15th century, and served as part of an integral system of commerce and trade that spanned throughout the Inca Empire. The Qhapaq Ñan featured extended paved surfaces, paved staircases, stone drainage channels, retention walls, bridges, and causeways. In some areas, the Qhapaq Ñan was 15 meters or 49 feet wide, and one paved staircase was 16 meters or 52 feet wide, while two roads ran parallel along some stretches of the Qhapaq Ñan. Warawtambo was designed to accommodate travelers and serve as a checkpoint along the Inca road system. The remnants of the road at Huarautambo are a testament to the extensive Qhapaq Ñan Inca road network that connected the empire. This video is the second in our four-part documentary special presentation covering four of the most important Inca archaeological sites situated consecutively along the Qhapaq Ñan Inca road system in the Peruvian Central Andean highlands. Four sites located across the three departments of Huánuco, Pasco, and Junín. Join us as we share with you in the following episodes of Mystic Places Magical Mystery Tour. Four of the most impressive, yet little-known Peruvian archaeological sites seldom visited by tourists: Huánuco Pampa, Warawtambo, Tampu, and Tawantinsuyu.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Mystic Places Magical Mystery Tour. We invite you to please follow our YouTube channel for more videos like this one. And remember, your donations help to make videos like this possible. So please click on the link below for PayPal donations and make us a small donation. It'll help us a lot. We thank you very much, and also want to give special thank you for all of our recent donors who helped us a lot, and we'll be releasing many more episodes that will be coming your way soon.